Today is a special day on the homestead. We do this 2 times a year. But I have the chicken queen herself. This is the chicken mama, the crazy chicken lady. This is Joella, and she is our chicken tender, like on my references, on our farm. She does all the daily maintenance. So I thought, who better to come out here and talk baby chicks than the professional for our homestead, and that's Miss Joella. Miss Joella, are you excited about your baby chicks?
Yes.
So what we're gonna do is come over here. We're gonna drop the camera down. What you got?
We have some. What are these?
Those are Rhode Island Reds.
Yeah, and we got some.
Got some duckies.
Yeah,
Those are some crested pecans.
and some.
That one looks just like a runner. I'm not too sure which one that one is.
It's cute.
And the other one looks like a cayuga.
Hmm.
And then
Look.
those are beautiful, aren't they?
These
And
will
then,
stand on my-
ooh, this box is about to bust open. Very important we hold the box from the bottom. So we got some black Wyandottes right here. Nice and beautiful. And then these are, you remember what these were called? Miracle? Orphix something? They're all black chickens. So we've not grown these before. So we're going to give these a shot.
We have grown these, right?
Yes, we have grown the crested pecans before. All right, so we got some work to do, don't we, before we put in chickens, right? Yeah. Joella, you have done chickens on our farms for how long?
About 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah, you've done it since we moved into this. You did chickens at the last house.
Yeah.
So that means, we've been living in this house for almost 5 years. Exactly. How old are you?
8.
8. So you've been doing chickens, yeah, so for about 5 years. You've been doing it since you were about 3 years old. You are the chicken expert. You've got more experience than most people I know. Do you know that?
No.
You do? You have more experience than most people that you know? How many people do you know have 5 years experience in handling chickens?
I don't know anyone that has that much.
There we go. There you go. You know what that means?
What?
You're a professional. Professional chicken crazy lady. All right, so Miss Crazy Chicken Lady, that means we've got some things to do before we can put our chicks into,
Yes.
what is this called right here?
Brooder?
The brooder, that's right. I wasn't doing a trick question on you. This is a brooder, right? What is the brooder for?
It's for little chickens so they don't, like, if you have big chickens and they're really reckless,
Yeah.
you can start with small and then they can get used to you. And it's just easy so you can...
Right, so it protects the baby chicks.
Yes.
If we put them in with the big chicks, they'll most likely get hurt. Dead. Yes, dead. When we talk about chickens, they really have a pecking order, right? Do they peck at each other and assert dominance? So these chickens will ultimately get killed if we put them in the big coop with the other birds, right?
Yes.
All right, so this is what the purpose of this for. We built this with her help and Mama Bear's help. We built this 5 years ago. This is actually leftovers from our big coop build across the barn. And it's made just from, 2x4s, a couple 4x4s in there, but mostly 2x4s and some of this siding. And then we put screen mesh on the bottom, screen mesh on top. That way the poop and the droppings just kind of drop through. If we see that it's bothering their feet, we'll add pine shavings in there, but typically it doesn't really bother them. We've not really seen many issues. I know some people get really... I hate to say moody about putting wire meshing under the bottom, but I think it's necessary. Keeps things clean. We can scrape out from up underneath it, and then we can carry those shavings, and we can take that directly over into the garden and have that as a little compost that we could put right on top of the garden, right? All right, so we've got our brooder. So what all do we need inside of our brooder?
We would need some food and some water and maybe some pine chips.
Can you put just any food in there? With what kind of food do you need for your baby chicks?
Chick food.
We need specifically chick feed, right?
Yes.
Do more. Sometimes it's a Purina. It's a Purina mix. Sometimes we got local mix. It just kind of depends on what's around whenever we buy the chicks. One bag of feed will last us 2 or 3 weeks. And even with like 10, 15 birds, that'll last us a good long while. Mm-hmm. And then next time we go to the big feed op down at Gatlin Feed, Miss Princess here will make sure she reminds Dad to get extra chick feed because I'll forget the chick feed.
Remind you?
Yeah, remind me. All right, so now we've got our chick feed. What else do we need?
We will need some water.
Some water. Very important, right? They need lots of water, correct? Especially here in Mississippi. How hot is it outside?
100 degrees.
It's over 100 degrees today, isn't it? It's crazy hot today. So we wanted to make sure they got plenty of water. So we got 2 waters. We've got some more options if they see that they're going through this. There are ducks in this mix, and the ducks love to play with the water. So it's a little bit more important that we're on top of making sure that it's more important that we stay on top of that water to make sure they don't go dry. It's really hot here and they can die. Yes. Right? So what have we added into that water though? I think I got the packet. What is that?
If you want them to sometimes, if they're that's electrolytes. And
all right.
You put it in your water and it helps them.
It helps them out. That's right. That's right. We put this in their water for the first couple weeks. It helps them just kind of adapt, get a little bit better immune systems. So we've gone ahead and added it into the water. We didn't want to have we wanted to save you the boredom of filling up the waters. So let's start adding in our waters. I start putting it all together. Yep, just flip it over. Got a little dirt on top. That's fine. Separate them out. What else is in that coop? Or sorry, what else is in our brooder here?
There is a heater.
That is correct. So we've got a brooder. We use an electric one. We don't use the one with the big lamps if we don't have to.
They can go under it, and the bottom is a little warm.
Right. So they can stay warm. They can leave out, obviously, if it's going to overbake them. Mm-hmm. But it allows them to be able to find warmth. I feel like out here it's not going to be as bad. But as we it's right now, it's currently mid-August, right?
Yeah.
So these birds will not leave this brooder till almost Christmas. So that means, though, that they'll have, we're going to have a couple cold nights where they're definitely going to need that warmth, right? Mm-hmm. All right. So I recommend the electric plates, not so much the lamps. The lamps are great, but the lamps are also a fire hazard. We have had one to catch fire out here before. So, you ready to start adding in our birds? Oh, add in our feed, for sure. You can move the trough feeder back out of the way. There we go. Now we have cleaned this out from last season the best we can. It's never going to really be perfect, especially once you get to 5 years old. All right, so now it's time to add in the chickens. So we got to do something here to make sure that they're successful. What do we got to do with these chickens?
We have to make sure we have to dip their their mouths into the food and water to make sure that they know where the food and water is.
That is absolutely right. You were spot on today. Can you believe this? Co-host right here. All right. So let me bring the camera a little closer so we can see that. So again, this is our brooder.
All right. So we just pick them up and dip their mouths into the food and water like that. And then you let them roam around.
Let them free range. So while she's working on that, I did want to show you kind of an old farmer's tale that we found to be pretty true, right? So we got all pullets, but sometimes you just have straight runs that are available. These are coming from Tractor Supply. We've used Meyer Hatchery. We've used all kinds of hatcheries. You name it, Cackle, you name it, we've used them, including some local folks. But this is one of our Wyandottes. But how do you tell when you've got just a straight run inside of the bin? How do you know that you've got a pullet? And how do you know that you're getting a rooster? So this is a wise man once told us. We were in a Tractor Supply and we ran into somebody. And we were trying to figure out which one we thought were pullets. And this old gentleman showed us this trick, and it has been so far 100% accurate. And so, we've been doing this now for 4 years. We've been doing this trick. So when you get your chicks, and again, you don't know if it's a pullet or a rooster, flip them over upside down, and see how he holds his legs. If they tuck them in, that is a female. If they were to extend all the way out, both legs go straight up, it is a male. That has been the truest farmer's tale that we have ever seen on the farm. Kind of a fun way to be able to it. Everybody thinks that I'm lying, but it has worked 100% of the time for us. Maybe we're just really lucky. Again, it locks down, and then we got a nice heavy lid that goes over the top. We do have field mice and things like that get out here, rats, occasionally possums. So we like a nice, secure brooder, right? Because almost everything on the farm, unfortunately, is a predator to this, right? Everything will eat it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your daily chores, right? What's the daily maintenance of these baby chicks and chickens? Like, what do you do every day for these birds? How long does it take you?
It takes me about 10 minutes.
Okay.
5 minutes. So I go inside the barn, I grab some food, and then I throw it to those big chickens.
Yeah.
And then if we have little chicks,
yeah.
I grab the waters and fooders that are in here.
Yeah.
I grab the waters first, take them out, and then I go fill the waters up and bring them back.
Okay.
And then once I'm done with the waters, I take the food out because they're more distracted of the waters. So then
kind of helps them stay on track.
Yeah.
All right. So how long do you normally keep them in here, into the brooder? About 3 months?
Yeah.
About 3 months. Then we'll kind of start adding them into the big coop.
Yeah.
And then when you add them into the big coop, what happens?
Big chickens don't really like other animals in there.
Right.
Because they have to get used to other animals in there.
So it kind of takes them a little bit to kind of get used to it. Again, they're going to establish a pecking order, right?
Yeah.
So it's not a big deal. They're going to peck at each other a little bit. What we're wanting to do is just make sure when we add one over to the other is that we're just kind of keeping an eye on just making sure they're not specifically targeting or bullying any. So what are ways that birds can get sick or damaged? What's the fastest way that they get damaged or sick? Like, how can we make sure that, what are things that we can prevent to that hurts the birds?
Does that count? Like sometimes they have little stuff right there.
Perfect. Talk about that. Speak a little louder. You got it.
Sometimes they have every time they poop, sometimes they have a little extra poop, and then they get stuck in their booty, and then that hurts them. Right.
Then it clogs them up. Right.
Yeah.
So if the next couple of days, especially now that they're going over to hard feed, we got to make sure that we're keeping an eye on their poop. Make sure they don't have any blockages down there. Do you remember how we fixed it when they had that?
Sometimes we have a wipey and we just wipe it.
Wipey, or sometimes you get Vaseline as well. And yeah, you just kind of wipe at it. You're wanting to moisten it up and help them kind of help pass it a little bit. What about, it's very important that we don't have any slick things in here, right? Remember the first time that we did, I don't remember if you remember this, but the first time we did chicks, we had saw a bunch of YouTube videos that they were doing them inside their house, inside plastic containers. And so the bottom of that plastic container was very slick. And so they would splay their legs out, right? And they would do splits and their legs would get stuck that way. Yeah. Do you remember that? And so we had to put those chicks down because they had basically broken hips.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What else? You're doing such a good job.
Sometimes ants can crawl
go.
up the brooder, and they can get on the chickens without them knowing, and they could easily kill the chickens.
Yep. So we keep a little bottle of ant killer back here. So we kind of spray around a little bit. We're not very big on pesticides, but obviously for the protection of our birds and our animals, that's kind of something we've got to take care of, especially out here underneath the covered area. This is a good spot for them, right? It's got a nice big overhang. They're away from the water.
Yeah.
All right. What else you got? What can you teach somebody about chickens? Do you have a favorite kind of chicken?
Yes.
What's your favorite kind of chicken?
Remember those white and black ones?
Okay.
Like the striped ones?
The barred rocks.
Yes.
The one like Elvis.
Yeah.
Yes, a barred rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, those look really cool.
My favorite kind of ducks are the pom-pom ones.
The crested pecans.
Yes,
The
crested
pecans.
pecans.
Yeah, they'll have like, looks like a big afro. Kind of looks like my hair when it's not crazy hot outside.
And it'll cover their eyeballs.
Yes.
And make them look silly.
Well, there you have it. Thank you, Miss Joella, for coming out here and working with us today. She is our chicken master. If you wouldn't mind doing us a huge favor, give her a big like. Give her a, if you want to see more content from Miss Joella, make sure that you comment on it down below. And again, I'm blessed. I have 6 kids. Each kid kind of has their own thing on the farm, and they're just absolutely a blessing to have out here. Thank you for hanging out with us today on Homesteading Chef. Again, hit the subscribe, hit the like. We'll see you next time on Homesteading Chef. Good job, champ.
It's hot out here.
It is hot out here. You ready to get in the AC?
Yeah.
I am too.